Want to welcome into the show Brian Brinsfield, former Auburn Tiger, member of the 1993 National Championship team. And Brian, I know it's been a tough week for the Auburn Tigers. It's been a tough week for you up there in Tennessee. And after further review, we've decided to have you on the show again. How about that for an intro after last week?
Is that what we're going to call this, rename the show after further review?
After further review, we're going to help Georgia down the field however we can.
37 minutes later.
That was something. That was something to sit in the press box and watch. I tell you.
I can't imagine. I mean, what'd you do for 37 minutes for
Well,
two minutes for 37 minutes?
there was a lot of snacking going on, and
Sure.
a lot of dead time up there. So,
A lot of what are they doing? A lot of that.
what are they doing? Like,
Yeah.
uh, what are I keep saying this on our show. I know, but what are the guys in Birmingham doing?
Yeah.
Do you have to like call them up on a dial phone every time and say, "Hey, you guys still there?"
It was Morse code, and they had to find somebody that knew Morse code.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I don't know I guess the timeout thing was later on in the game. Is that right?
it wasn't, yeah, it was, but it wasn't, yeah. I mean, it was just a weird, that whole 2 minutes with Lee getting kicked out and it just seemed like every play there was something on the field after the end of each play that their defense got a rest
Yeah.
for
Something
some reason.
and it seemed like everything was negative and went against Auburn. And I thought the worst one of all was the roughing the passer call,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah.
was like, can you imagine them calling that roughing the passer in the 1980s?
No, it
No,
wasn't roughing the
no.
passer.
That was like
What-
made me think of the Pittsburgh Steelers when Jack Lambert said they ought to put dresses on the quarterback.
Yeah. Well, who was wasn't there a Yankee, I mean, a New York Giants quarterback that broke his leg? I mean, that no, got a concussion. And there's a famous picture of him just laying on the field like he's dead. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
But I mean, no, it wasn't Russian. I mean, you can make a case for it, I guess, but roughing the
no,
passer. But
there was no case for that. I didn't see a
come on,
case for that at all.
come on.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot to unpack, as we said, from the game last week. We don't want to dwell on it too
No,
much. It's over, just like the
so
Oklahoma game. And I don't know where we go from here, if we're at all still in things or totally out of it with, 6 games left to go in the regular season. But we'll talk about that. And also, we want to get into Missouri a little bit. But I know you watched Coach Freeze's press conference this week. And a lot of people have commented on that the first part of the week, and I know you had some questions and some thoughts as you listened to him talk.
yeah, and we can talk about the Damari thing. I mean, I think it's worth talking about.
Yeah,
But I had some other questions that just listening to the progression of his his talk, I thought, well, what's going on? He talked about Durrell, our running back, and somebody asked him about his progress, and he said, "Well, I saw him out running today, and I guess I need to ask them when he's going to come back." And I just thought, how do you not know? You're the head football coach of this program. Do you not, usually at a corporation, and let's call this a corporation, you would have a staff meeting, and I know they have to have staff meetings every day or get intel from their lieutenants every single day. How do you not get intel from your head training staff or head trainer about who's out and where they are in the progression of coming back, especially if a running back is now to the point where he can run on the field?
yeah.
He's close.
Well,
He's
especially if you have the situation with Damari on Sunday
Yeah,
that he wants to redshirt, and you talk about it again Monday morning, and then you go to the press conference at 1:30.
yeah.
You would think by 1:30 you would have talked to the trainer and have an answer, right?
Hey, do we have another back? Do we have somebody else we can use? Can we use that guy that's close that I saw out there running today, or do I need to go to Haley Center and hold up a sign?
Yeah, because we have Mabeson, who has played a little bit, and then we have a true freshman, and after that, I don't think we have a whole lot of running backs. So, anyway, I know we talked a little bit earlier in the week about Damari and what happened to him, and I've listened to about every podcast in the
Yeah.
history of the world and listened to people talk about it. And I understand both sides. I understand what Damari is doing. He's played his 4 games. I think he feels that he's not getting the carries that he should get. I think he feels that the running backs in general are not
I was go-
utilized
I was
as
going to say
much,
that all of them should feel that way,
yeah,
probably.
as much as they should be. And he's played his 4 games. He can't wait any longer to use his red shirt. So he's decided, and it's a different game than it used to be. He's a captain of this football team, or was. Um, he's decided that I want to do something different. I want a
Yeah.
red shirt, and I want to go somewhere else and see if I can make my last year count and continue my career, perhaps to the next level.
Yeah. A couple things could have transpired a little different had we used the running backs like we did probably against, and he had his best game. Damari did against it was Ball State or South. I can't remember which. He had 100 and something yards rushing.
Well, Baylor, I think he had a pretty good game.
Was it Jack? Well, Jackson did get Baylor too, but regardless, he had one good game, and then he had his shoulder hurt, so he
Yeah,
sat out a couple games. But if we use our running backs the way we probably should use them, then he probably doesn't go in and say, "Hey, I need this red shirt," because he's got game film. And let's call this what it was. It was a business decision on Damari's part.
yeah,
I need film to get to the next level or get to the next school and get a bigger NIL deal, whatever. But this was a business decision on his part. Now, some people that rubs some people the wrong way, and a lot of people are divided about it. But in this day and age, we have created, or not we, they have created this in college athletics, and that's the way it is. A couple of years ago, it was people, hey, I'm going to sit out during the bowl games, which was
yeah,
unheard of,
right.
unheard of, that you would quit on your team at the end of the year and not go to battle with them. Hey, y'all go ahead. I'm going to sit over here because I'm going to be a first or second round pick and I'm not going to sprain my ankle.
Yeah.
Unheard of. But this is where we are now.
And the other side of things is Coach Freeze's point of view, and some of the players on the team, I think, thinking that Damari had quit and that he was a captain of the football team. And we heard Jackson Arnold come out this week and say, you know what Coach Freeze said, if you want to be here, stay. If you don't want to be here, go somewhere else. And we're going to keep going and keep fighting and try to win some football games. So I understand that side of it also. It was a little bit strange how Coach Freeze handled it at the press conference, the wording that he
Yeah, the
used,
wording.
because
Yeah.
that put some things in people's mind that maybe shouldn't have been there about Damari.
Yeah. It kind of made it sound like it was character driven, like he broke a rule. He did something to violate our policy. But, I don't know if you have the exact wording there. Do you, what Coach Freeze said or
I,
remember it?
I think he said he didn't live up to the
The
expectation
standards
and
or
the standard of
expectations?
Auburn football.
Well, that could come back and bite Coach Freeze in the rear end,
I
couldn't it?
think it already has. I think
I
a number of
mean,
people have already said that. Yeah.
well, I'm just saying it could be a headline for him
Yeah.
one
Right.
day
Right.
that he hadn't lived up to the standard and expectations of Auburn football, and it might come sooner than later. I mean, let's just again put it out there. We're
Yeah.
we're too far from sugarcoating things now.
Well, I think you could use it right now after 3 losses in a row.
Yeah,
We've been close in these football games, and you can point to the officials in the Oklahoma game and the Georgia game. No question about that. It's been a factor. But I said to you earlier in the week when we were talking, and this is kind of an ironic subject, if there's one place I would have used Amari, it's down on the goal line when Jackson, we did the push play, and
yeah,
Jackson tried to score the touchdown, got the ball knocked out of his hands. That's the one time, if there was a time, I would have given the ball to Damari, our toughest back probably,
yeah,
and let him try to punch it in there, maybe 2 or 3 times in a row.
yeah. Well, you did it. You had 2 or 3 times to do it, and
Yeah,
running backs are used to handling the football in those situations. Quarterbacks aren't. And so whether he got across the goal line or not, they say he didn't. We say he did. It doesn't matter now, but running backs are used to, yes, they fumble, yes, they get the ball punched out too, but they're used to they do drills in practice over and over and over about for those things. So
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. It would have been a great thing. Now you used the word close. There were two more things that he said. He said if you don't think we're close or you don't see that we're close, you don't know anything about football.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this. When you're close to a win, you've done what? You've lost. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of two things. You've either won or lost. We can be close until the cows come home. And at Auburn, they're right across the street from the practice facility, or they used
Yeah.
to be. I don't know where they are anymore.
Doesn't take them long to get home, right?
No, it doesn't. But it's how long do Auburn fans want to be close? I don't
Yeah.
want to be close anymore. I want,
Yeah.
I want to win ball games.
Yeah.
The other thing was missed assignments. If, for those of you who saw his press conference who might not know what an MA is, it's a missed assignment. And he talked about that we had 23 missed assignments or MAs.
On
Well,
defense.
well, he said total. He said total, I thought, because he said 11 of them were on that last drive. Now, was he talking about
The
on
Georgia drive,
defense?
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
think he said
right.
the defense had 23 and 11 were on that last drive. And that's the thing I was going to bring up that kind of rubbed me wrong. If I was Hugh Freeze and my offense got 40 yards in the second half
Yeah.
against Georgia, I
Yeah.
don't think I'd be pointing out that about the Auburn defense,
Defense.
who's played
No.
pretty well. And the first thing that came in my mind is, did you ever think that they might be a little tired after the offense only got 40 yards in the second half?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
No.
there were only about 11 or 12, 13 plays that Auburn ran in the second half,
Yeah.
because there were a couple three and outs and maybe one little bitty sustained drive with a first down. But the reason I thought it was on offense is because he right after that said, well, we the things that we ran well in the first half and executed in the first half on offense, we didn't execute them in the second half. We ran the same plays in the second half, but didn't execute them.
That gets the same look.
Well, yeah, they gave us the same look and we didn't execute
Yeah.
them. How? How? Now, I talked about this last week that Kirby is a master at going into halftime and having making adjustments. He's always been. He was like that when he was at Alabama.
And he's
But
a master at turning the timeout into the clap real quick.
that's great.
I ruined your
There's,
point there.
there's been some great memes and videos about that.
Yeah.
But how do you not block it the same? If they're giving you the same look and you're running the same play, how do you not block it the same? The first play of the ball game, we ran Eric Singleton on jet sweep.
To the left,
We gained yards.
8 yards, I think.
First play of the second half, jet sweep to the right,
Yeah.
-2.
Yeah.
How?
Because
Why?
Georgia adjusted.
Well, they adjusted and we didn't execute. We didn't
Yeah.
block.
Yeah.
I saw one protection I laughed when it happened because half the line, and it was a sack. It was a horrible sack, but two of the linemen did this motion, and I'm motioning with my arm to the right. The center motioned to the left. So three of the linemen on the left side of the ball went to the left.
We're on one page.
The right guard and right tackle protected to the right, and the safety came just right up the middle.
Yeah.
Nobody even looked at him, and Jackson almost went to the hospital.
And the thing that I think of, Brian, is if you're playing Georgia and if you're playing Kirby Smart, we'll get on to Missouri
Yeah.
pretty quick because
Okay.
we don't want to linger on Georgia too
All
long.
right.
But if you're playing Kirby Smart, you know what his coaching ability is. You know what he does at halftime. Wouldn't you already have another
A
set of
B, plan
plays?
B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drawn up for the second half of play because we know he's going to adjust. So
Right.
we're going to change this and do this and make him guess again.
I was surprised, really, honestly, and we hadn't talked about this, but I was surprised in the first series that he was looking down his play sheet, kind of having to look and choose a play. A lot of coaches, especially in the first of the ball game, the first series of the ball game, script their first 10, 15, 20, 25 plays.
Yeah,
But Coach Freeze doesn't, but you're right. I mean, and a lot of coaches script their second half, first drive, second drive. But you make a great point.
All right,
All right.
so three losses in a row. And again, we will credit the referees for a lot there, but
Yeah.
certainly Auburn did their part to not win. A lot of people have talked about doing things to not win the ball game. Auburn did a lot of that too. It just seemed like they folded after the end of that first half to
It
me.
was deflating. I
Yeah,
mean, and no motivation, it seemed like, to get them back up.
but you got to come back anyway,
Yeah.
and they got to come back against Missouri this weekend. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough week of practice. I'm sure it already has been. It started as Auburn as a 1.5 point favorite. I think last I looked, it was Missouri as a 1.5 point favorite. And I think when I look at this ball game, Brian, on Saturday at Jordan Hare Stadium, a night game again, it's not going to be the same atmosphere as last week. I don't think. Um, and when you look at the intangibles, it seems to me that Missouri, they lost to Alabama in a close game last week, which was their first loss of the season. They're a pretty good football team. They've got a lot to play for. Auburn now has three losses, however you mark them up. Auburn doesn't have a lot to play for. That seems to me, the difference in this ball game.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, Missouri comes in with an outside chance of still playing in the SEC championship, an outside chance of playing in the playoff with only one loss, and their one loss being a marginal loss to maybe the best team in football right now.
Yeah, had a chance
Some
to beat
people,
them.
yeah, had a chance to beat them. Some people can say that they're the best team, and so they've got, you're right, everything to play for. And do the Auburn Tigers fold up and just say, well, what are we doing? But also Missouri's a good team. They were leading the NCAA in rushing yards going into last week. And they've got a really good back. So it's going to be, can our defense stop a really good running team with a decent quarterback, pretty efficient quarterback
Yeah,
that transferred from Penn State. So
I'm not real worried about the defense, to be honest with you, with the guys playing like they are and DJ over
yeah,
there as the
they'll be ready.
coordinator. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about Drinkowitz as going somewhere else after the season with the success he's had at Missouri. And it made me think of Penn State. You and I talked about buyouts,
Yeah,
and that one happened the first part of this week for what,
quick.
$50 million, and was it more than that? I can't remember. But boy, the amount that Franklin is going to get per day and per week and per month is really astounding.
Yeah. And that happened quick. I mean, it was they met Sunday night, or yes, either Saturday night or Sunday night, and it happened either Sunday morning or Saturday or Monday morning. I can't remember when I texted you and said, "Hey, does Franklin come to Auburn?" Does Drinkwitz? Do we? But we still got a coach, so I maybe shouldn't make that. Maybe
Go ahead
shouldn't
and
make
say it.
that leap. Yeah. I
But
like.
Drinkowitz is good friends with Gus
Yeah,
and Hugh Freeze and that
I know.
crowd, I think. Yeah.
I know. But he's also done a really good job at a historically mediocre team.
Right.
A bottom dweller in the SEC. He's done a really good job the last, what, 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know how long he's been there, but Missouri's been relevant in the SEC.
No doubt.
Do you look at him? Absolutely. It's going to be a huge coaching carousel this offseason. Probably one that we hadn't seen in I don't know if ever, with the amount of coaches that are out there. And Florida's going to be hiring a new coach. But yeah, Missouri, they are a good football team, and I don't know that we're going to face a bad football team maybe until we get to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
Arkansas is better
Arkansas is
with
better.
Petrino, and they're going to be fighting at their place. And then we got to go to Vandy, and we know what that's like.
That's right. And then Mercer. I'm kidding.
That would be like
I'm not
that would be
kidding.
like losing to Northwestern, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, we lost to, who was it? We lost to
New Mexico
Pavia,
State. Yeah.
Pavia 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
you can't just laugh at Mercer, especially now with the turmoil. So
I don't think
good,
anybody's laughing at anything right now.
good gracious alive. Um,
Anyway,
yeah.
all right, it's going to be interesting this weekend. Auburn and Missouri again, a night game at Jordan Hare. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening around the SEC with one of your buddies up there. Talk a little bit about Alabama, Tennessee, and some other games. Kind of set that up for us and tell us where we're going in the next segment here.
Yeah, I've got one of my doctors is going to join us. He's a big Tennessee fan, and I wanted to have him on the show if Doug would allow it. And so he's going to join us to talk about this is third week in October. We we have something in common, which we don't like the red.
Exactly.
We'll sit and talk about how much we don't like the red and what he thinks Alabama and Tennessee, what'll happen in that ball game coming up after the break.
Yeah, some other good games coming up this weekend: Georgia, Ole Miss, and a couple other ones we'll talk about. But we'll get to that. He has a famous last name, and we'll ask him if he's connected. Right when we get back,
That's right. And by the way, David Fulford owes me a steak, and we know where we can get that steak.
we'll go to Big Mike's, I think.
That's right.
All right, we'll be back and talk more about the SEC this week, Alabama, Tennessee, and more in just a minute. Stay here. All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. Want to continue to talk some SEC football this evening, and welcome back to the show, Brian Brinsfield, again a member of the '93 National Championship team for the Auburn Tigers. And Brian, we have a special guest, as we mentioned last segment, with us tonight to talk a little bit about the games around the SEC. One very big one for him in Tuscaloosa this weekend, and kind of introduce us to our guest here.
Well, I moved up to Tennessee in 2021, I guess, and this man has helped me in the last probably year of my life tremendously. Dr. Tim Bo Dickey, or we'll call him Bo or for short on this cast. But Dr. Dickey's a gastroenterologist here in Murray County, near Columbia, Tennessee. And been a real positive influence in my life and for the last year and just a good guy. And we probably talk about football more than we talk about medicine. Even though, I'm in medicine and he's in medicine, we don't talk a lot of medicine and what's going on with me. We just talk about football, but big Tennessee fan. And we have that in common that we don't like teams in red. So welcome.
Hey, glad to be here. I was so excited when you asked me to do this. I was a little nervous about it, but once I finally decided I'd do it, man, I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you.
Tell us a little bit. I know when we talked a second ago, you said, and this is maybe the case every year, but biggest game of the year for Tennessee coming up this weekend.
And I speak for myself, but I'd probably speak for pretty much every Tennessee fan. It's Alabama. I mean,
right.
we go 1-11, and we beat Alabama. We happy campers, and that's the truth for most Tennessee fans. If you can beat Alabama, that's all that really matters. So, growing up, I grew up in Giles County, which is right on the Alabama border. So probably 60-40 Tennessee, Alabama fans. I mean, we have a lot of Alabama fans in Tennessee, in Giles County, Tennessee. So rabid, a lot of my family members are Alabama fans. Friends are Alabama fans. Not the best ones are Alabama fans for sure.
No.
The best friends are Tennessee fans.
Yeah.
But a lot of friends and family Alabama fans. It was always fun, but it's the game you wanted. I was thinking on the way up here this morning about this. I remember my first reality check. I was 16. I had to work the Saturday of Tennessee-Alabama game. I was working I was like, who in the world has to work on this? I had to miss it. And I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I still remember that. That was 1988. I'm like, who had rather? I should have called in sick, I guess, but I didn't. But I still remember missing that game because I had to go to work that day.
Yeah.
But it's the game we look forward to. And, of course, it's been pretty one-sided to the last 3 years, but it's still the game you want. Third Saturday in October. My birthday's the 24th, and actually I don't know why the schedule, but a few times it's fell on my birthday. Never won one on my birthday, so I just soon it not be on my birthday no more. But yeah, we're really excited about it. I'd pulled up. They have the largest margin of victory Alabama's ever beat us by 51. We beat them by 27. That's one of my favorite games. 1995, Peyton. I think we played in Birmingham. First play of the game, slant, peerless price, boop, 80 yards. Jumped up, tore the ceiling fan off my friend's house. I mean, so that's that was my favorite game till a few years ago. Of course, the field goal, 51-48, that trumped them all. But 95 was really the game that we had lost a lot in a row, and it was finally turned the tables on.
Well, we had to play y'all that December or January, I guess, in the SEC championship.
Yeah, we stunk it up.
No, y'all beat us.
Did we beat y'all that one?
Damian Craig was our quarterback, and y'all beat us and ended up winning. That's the year y'all won. Maybe the next year.
I think we went. Nebraska beat our socks off that.
Okay, but y'all, maybe the next year, '97, you won the national title, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. 97, 98. That's right.
All right,
yeah.
But I tell you this, I have to wear navy blue up here because the oranges don't exactly go together. And when I go to, we have this little kind of hole in the wall, but it's great. Bucky's up here, not the Bucky's.
We have one of those too.
No, not that one. A restaurant.
Not the Beaver Bucky's. Yeah,
different one. And, well, you walk in there and it's just orange everywhere. And so, whether they win or lose, Tennessee fans are going to be Tennessee fans. And that's the fun part. And there's not a lot of, in Alabama, it's 50-50. It's not 50-50 in the state of Tennessee. It's 90-10.
It's probably 90-10.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, they always say the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So, Auburn, most Tennessee fans like Auburn, right?
Yeah.
We cheer for Auburn. We want Auburn to win as long as they don't beat Tennessee,
Yeah.
I feel like most of my Tennessee fans, friends, they're Auburn fans too. So I think we kind of like the hatred for Alabama kind of makes us kindred spirits, I think.
One of the weird things, though, is in the Cracker Barrels up here, they don't have Auburn stuff. They have Alabama stuff.
They do, yeah.
That really kind of, when I got up here, I was like, they hate Alabama. Why are they selling Alabama stuff? But that's a lot of
Alabama fans that live here.
They come across the border to buy that stuff, right?
That's right.
Yeah, they do.
Well, yeah, I told you guys before we came on, the Auburn, Tennessee game I really missed from when I was in school, and, just a great rivalry. The colors, like you mentioned, Brian, and I always remember Trey Gaines in 80, whatever it was, returning the punt, and I think Auburn winning that football game. But Bo, what about this weekend? You guys are sitting there with one close loss to Georgia. Alabama's up at the top with, I think, 3 teams have no losses so far. And one of their running backs, Jam, is kind of banged up. I don't know if he's going to play or not. So what are you thinking of your chances going in?
Well, I'm the eternal optimist for sure. I do like our chances better because Alabama, oh Lord, Vanderbilt and Missouri had their chances, right?
Yeah.
They did. They took them. They gave them all they wanted. They didn't pull it out. So at some point, maybe that little bit of magic they have will run out this Saturday, and we can find a way. Of course, we found a way the last 2 weekends with Mississippi State and Arkansas. We didn't really close those games, but found a way to win, especially after the Georgia debacle, So I like our chances. Of course, in Tuscaloosa, if we're in Knoxville, I'd be very confident. Man, they like to run the ball, and our run defense has, it has not been very good.
Yeah.
So that's
Might be a
my
shootout,
concern.
huh?
Yeah, we can score with anybody. That I know. So it's going to be a shootout for sure. It's what I hope because that's our best chance.
Yeah, I don't know what the over is, but you might want to take it. But with Jam out, them not running, they may not run the ball as much as they do. But y'all have got a good back now. I saw where he might have been concussed toward the third quarter.
I think so. But we go about 3 deep there. So and they're all they all get carries, and it kind of goes from game to game.
That's kind of like Auburn with 3 running backs deep, right? Right, Brian?
That's for the whole team. That's all we got though on the whole team. Let me ask this: can we have your coach? I'm just kidding.
Man, I tell you,
Just
when Oklahoma a few years ago, when what was the guy, Lincoln Riley? Was that the one that went? What was
yeah,
the guy that
USC.
went to
Southern Cal.
USC?
Yeah.
I mean, I was on pins and needles. I'm like, I mean, he's an Oklahoma guy. He's going home.
Yeah,
And them fools didn't even offer him the job. I'm like, boy, thank you.
yeah,
And now I think we got him for good. Now I think they kind of burned that bridge. I
yeah.
would think, because he was hot. Well, I don't even know why his name didn't come up there. Maybe he told him no. Maybe he just kind of squashed it and never got to that. But I was glad that he didn't leave.
Yeah.
So
He's been good for Tennessee, and I think he's a really good coach. I
uh,
I do think their defense is kind of the tale of two seasons. Last year, I think the defense was ahead of the offense,
I
right?
think so too. Yeah.
And then this year,
And
the opposite.
and what's crazy, I mean, we got some dudes out
Yeah,
there. I mean, we got some dudes that are fast and big, but I don't know why they've just not. People's third down has been bad. And so that's kind of our little our thorn in our side. We play good on first and second, and then you give up a 3rd and 8. Somebody just wide open. So I'm hoping the tackling's a little better, and we get after Mr. Simpson. He's played pretty well for Alabama.
Yeah.
He's a Tennessee boy, by the way,
that's
Westview,
right.
Tennessee. So
Yeah.
Big game for him then.
yeah, we got to get after him.
How did he get out of the state? I guess.
Yeah,
Money.
and that's a great question. That's a great question. So,
Yeah.
of course, he did his time there. I mean, what is he? He's been there 3 years, 4 years.
He's been a backup for 3 years.
Yeah. So but yeah, I'm excited. They play 6:30. I kind of used to the 2:30, but I'll be all right with the 6:30 under the light game.
So we'll be on at the same time Saturday at 6:30. I guess you guys are Eastern though, right? No, you'd be Central in
Eastern.
Tuscaloosa.
We're Central, 6:30 Central.
Yeah.
Yeah,
6:30 Central.
Well, with we talked about the similarities a little bit, or the common hatred for Alabama between Tennessee and Auburn. But I was thinking from an outside perspective, you talked about Oklahoma a little bit. We
Yep.
talked about Georgia a little bit. From an outside perspective, somebody that's not an Auburn fan, what have you thought about the officiating in the Auburn-Oklahoma game and the Auburn-Georgia games?
Look, what the Oklahoma game, I was watching that game and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, it was obvious to me. That blew my mind. And then when the touchdown where they didn't call that whatever illegal participation, I'm watching. I'm go, how the heck did he get so wide open? I'm yelling at the defensive back.
Yeah.
They didn't do nothing wrong, because I was like, who had him? So it was terrible. And then Saturday night, 10-0 on the first 1 yard line. I walk into the kitchen. I hear my brother go, yeah, touchdown. And then I come back in there. I'm like, what's going on? He said, they said he fumbled. I'm like, what are you talking about? And yeah, that was egregious. I mean, it was terrible. Have y'all got an apology this week?
We haven't got anything in writing this week, which is
Yeah,
surprising.
And while we're on it, timeout gate.
Yeah.
Surely he's got to be fined.
He can clap.
That's at some point you have to say, all right, Kirby, that's unbecoming a professional, right?
Yeah.
I think
Just
Kirby.
I was clapping.
Yeah,
What?
just own it.
I think Kirby
Own it.
called timeout
Just own
before the SEC wrote the letter. So
Yeah, I mean, I think he should be fined for that. And look,
Yeah.
one of my best friends in the world is a Georgia fan, and I will tell him the same thing too, dude. Hey, your coach needs to be a better person than that. That's
Yeah.
pretty low down. That's what
Yeah.
I felt like.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Auburn got hosed on both of those. You go up 17-0 there, I think that game's over.
Yeah.
I really do. I think
Yeah.
that changes everything.
Yeah.
And I
But
think-
10-0 and yeah.
I think Auburn folded, and they should have held on to the football and scored anyway. But
It's kind of you get a bad call, you have to shake it off and move on. But boy, that was a tough one to shake off and move on from.
He was,
So-
but we still
Yeah.
only had 40 yards offense in the second half.
Yeah, the second half was just, it was abysmal.
four
gotta be better
possessions
than
and
that.
40 yards, I think. So
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yards and
let's.
touchdowns.
What do you guys think about the games this weekend? We'll go around the league a little bit and start with Tennessee and Alabama. And Bo, I know start us off. I know you're going to pick the guys in orange,
Oh,
right?
I got to go with the big orange, but I do think it's going to be a shootout. Maybe not 51-48, but we got to score above 35 or more to win. I do feel like for sure.
Yeah.
Because if we hold Alabama under 30, we're walking out of there with a W. But I'm looking like 38, 35, something like that for sure. If we're going to win, we're going to outscore them. That's our best chance. But I'm excited about it. Like I said, they've kind of found a way the last few weeks, and hopefully some of that magic wears off.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping.
Yeah, you've got two of the best quarterbacks in the SEC with Aguilar and Simpson going head to head this week,
Yeah.
and frankly, two of the best or two of the best wide receivers with Bishop, and then pick a guy at Alabama, right?
Right. Yeah, that's one thing I worry about. Ryan Williams, I don't think he had a catch last week.
He didn't.
I promise you, first play of the game will be to Ryan Williams.
He might have painted his fingernails the wrong color or something.
Yeah, but I think you're right. But I think it's going to be probably a high scoring game, and it might come down to what defense scores. You may see a takeaway for a touchdown or a fumble and picked up and returned, or maybe even special teams might come into play when you get down to brass tacks with games like that.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Tennessee to win, and hopefully they'll take the goalpost down in Tuscaloosa.
Oh,
like
wouldn't
they
that
did
be
in,
nice?
in Knoxville.
Take it back to Knoxville.
Take that baby back to the Tennessee River, baby.
That's right.
Here's another one close to you guys up there in Tennessee this weekend. LSU at Vanderbilt. That should be a pretty good shootout. What do you think, Brian?
I'm going to take Vandy on this one, and I picked it on my ESPN app. I'm not a Brian Kelly fan, number one, but I just don't think LSU has an identity on either side of the ball, and I know Vanderbilt does, and I think Vanderbilt's mad, probably, and so I'm not going to put it past Pavia. I wouldn't put anything past Pavia or Lee.
Bo, what do you think on that one?
Well, I've been thinking Vanderbilt for several weeks, even before the Alabama game and all that. One of my good friends is a big Vanderbilt fan, but just watching LSU, I mean, they can't get out of their own way. I know their record is what it is, but boy, they could have easily lost 2 or 3 of those games.
That's right.
Their offense is just, I don't know if it's play calling or what. I mean, we know they got studs, but boy, they just ain't. You think about the Clemson game. Wow, what a win! Now you look at it, you go, well, how did you not beat them 5 touchdowns? Yeah, what were y'all doing? So Vanderbilt, Brian's right. They're going to be. They got a week off to get ready. I don't think Pavia is going to throw that interception inside the 20 down 6 if they are this week for sure. Boy, that hurt against Alabama.
Or fumble the ball.
Oh, and the fumble. Yeah. So, but I think Vanderbilt, and at home, and look, LSU will travel. That stadium will be probably 60-40 LSU.
Yeah.
I hope the Vanderbilt fans come out and hold their own, but they fill that stadium up when they come there. So,
yeah,
I know we call it
Pavia shuts them up.
I know we call it Auburn North when we get there. So
yeah, I talked to my friend about coming to the Auburn game. He said, "Don't do it. The tickets will be too expensive." He said, "Don't even look." He said, "Them Auburn fans will pay whatever to come."
That's right.
Has Coach Lee and Pavia and those guys coming in and doing what they've done at Vanderbilt? How much has that affected the Vandy Tennessee rivalry?
Well, I mean, it's the game that worries me. That's for sure. Normally you wouldn't think about it, but it worries me because I can see us beating Alabama and Oklahoma and getting to the end and Vanderbilt beating us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that stink? And normally that's not something you'd ever have to worry about, but that's not a game I'm overlooking for sure. You can't overlook them.
It kind of reminds me.
We got to play them up there too, right, Brian?
Yeah, but it kind of reminds me of Georgia Tech. How Georgia has to get through their whole season, and then you got that Georgia Tech that you don't think about, but now you got a Vanderbilt that is a little bit of something and ruin the season.
I don't mean to jinx Georgia Tech, but they're going to be undefeated when they play Georgia. You look at their schedule. They
Yeah.
got nobody.
Nobody.
They're going to be undefeated whenever. And I think
Yeah.
they go. I can't remember. They had Georgia on the ropes last year, and
Yeah, with
they
the quarterback, good
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah, so that's going to be a big game.
Yeah.
So yeah, no doubt.
And speaking of Georgia, that's the other big one this weekend. Ole Miss, I think, is in the top 5, and Georgia is maybe a little down this year, but we got Georgia and Ole Miss in Athens, I think, this weekend. Bo, I know you love Georgia, so
Yeah. Well, that's a game. I couldn't remember where it was at, but if it's in Georgia, I just don't. I can't see Ole Miss going over there and beating them. They done lost to Alabama there. Their home record with Kirby has been phenomenal. And look, they know they got lucky last week. They got lucky. Can Ole Miss beat them? Sure. But, Ole Miss is kind of helter-skelter too. Washington State comes to town, and they got out of there. Of course, they were looking ahead. It's the old trap game, I'm sure. But, man, that's a game you should have played everybody in the water boy.
Yeah.
And they were lucky to win. So they will play better, I think, this weekend. But Georgia's a tough place to go and win.
Yeah.
They'll need some help to win, I think.
Brian, I know we talked about Penn State and Franklin earlier in the show.
Yeah.
But a lot of talk this week about Lane Kiffin and the Florida Gators. Will that distract them the rest of the way, you think?
Could. It very well could. And he may end up there, but I think he'll probably temper that down until the end of the season. And listen, if I'm Lane Kiffin, what I tell my kids, is that I'm just honest and say it could very well happen, but right now my focus is here. So I'm here with you 100%. Don't sugarcoat it and say, no, I'm not going, because those kids know different. They know better. It happened at Tennessee with Lane Kiffin, and then he was out the door at night.
In the middle of the
2
night.
o'clock at night, 2 a.m. So
happened at Auburn this week.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So don't sugarcoat it. Just say, yeah, it could happen, but right now I'm with you. And that's how you go beat Georgia. And it's going to be a close ball game at Georgia. Georgia's, like Bo said, they got the upper hand because it's in Athens, and that's a tough place to play. But both of them are undefeated, right? Has Georgia lost?
Alabama beat them.
Yeah, Alabama
that's right.
beat Georgia.
Then Georgia's got a lot to lose. They can't lose another ball game.
They can't lose. Yeah.
They can't lose another ball game. So they're going to be fighting.
And Ole Miss is kind of like we talked about last week, kind of riding under the radar. They're undefeated and number 4 in the country.
Yeah, and it's really surprising that you hadn't heard much from what's his pseudonym name on X, Johnny something, not Johnny Appleseed, but whatever it is.
Yeah.
But Kiffin hadn't said much, and he's
it's kind of unusual because he likes to talk. I mean, he likes to talk. Win or losing, he likes to talk. So
yeah.
I think he'll end up at Florida, though.
I do too. I think there's a good
I don't know
shot
why
there.
you do. I don't know why you leave an Ole Miss where no expectations and go to somewhere where you may be out of there in 3 years.
Right.
I don't know. And he's making good money at Ole Miss, but I guess you get a few more people in the stadium and a little more NIL money.
Well, you might get a $90 million buyout at Florida too, and then lose, and then you can just retire and like everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
You can go sit with Franklin somewhere on the coast, right?
Yeah. I don't think James Franklin's that sad right now.
No, and Hugh Freeze and Jimbo and Gus or whoever else we're paying.
Yeah,
That's right.
They need to start a club somewhere, Jimbo and Franklin.
The Fired Coach Club.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun to talk about all these games, and especially Alabama, Tennessee, getting a little away from Auburn, but it was fun to do that with Auburn 3-3 right now. So there are some other things going on in the conference, but enjoyed it, and hope you guys enjoy the weekend. And War Eagle, and go Vols.
Go Vols, War Eagle.
That's right. Go Big Orange, War Eagle. Brian, thank you for having me. Doug, nice to meet you. This was a pleasure.